Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. We're gonna get through this. That's tough because
taking the IRS to court. The boxer still owes the IRS his 2015 federal income taxes, but Mayweather has asked a tax court for reprieve until after his August 26th fight with Conor McGregor, saying his current assets are, quote, restricted and primarily illiquid. Now, it's unclear how much Mayweather owes the IRS, but in 2015, he had a very big year, reportedly earning between $220 and $230 million for defeating Manny Pacquiao. Now, Mayweather filed the initial petition on July 5th, but the IRS declined, citing he had the means to pay the debt immediately. In the worst-case scenario, if the IRS does not approve his reprieve, a lien could be attached to all of Mayweather's property, at which point the IRS could seize and sell his belongings to pay.
When Floyd Mayweather had some of his assets frozen because of unpaid taxes, it changed how people started looking at his money. The perfect, flashy image he shows on Instagram suddenly didn't match what was happening behind the scenes, and things began to feel more complicated than they first appeared.
Damn, Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather. What, they got you up under the gun again on $25 million in taxes? Hey, man, you know, stuff about to get real for you, Floyd, man, because you already owe Gervonta Davis $33 million that you ain't paid him.
Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest boxers of his generation, although some also think about his past legal challenges. But could he now also be the person who uncovered a massive real estate tax evasion scheme? That is the question posed in a new LA Magazine article. The story is called From Ring to Real Estate. Floyd Mayweather exposes a possible mega mansion tax scam.
Reports connected to the 2010 and 2015 tax years showed that he owed millions to the Internal Revenue Service, including more than $22 million linked to his massive payday from Manny Pacquiao. There were also official filings where Floyd himself admitted that a large part of his wealth was tied up in assets that were not easy to access quickly.
Stupid question. Are you a stupid person? Of course he's broke. He's a boxer that allegedly doesn't know how to read.
If you set up a company that's in another state, you don't have to pay this extra exorbitant tax that is supposed to be helping the neediest people in Los Angeles. Karen Bass, you know, is very dedicated to making sure that the homeless situation is cleaned up. This is one of the ways that they're doing it, and it looks like there could be possibly lots of different ways to scam the system.
And Floyd Mayweather is a provocative and controversial figure, but I think this article may make people...
As time went on, Floyd Mayweather's financial story only became more confusing. There were ongoing reports connecting him to tax problems, disputed business deals, and investment claims that people started questioning. One of the biggest moments came in 2025, when Floyd publicly stated that he owned over 60 apartment buildings in New York, presenting it like a powerful business move that showed his dominance outside the ring.
I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me.
But investigations found no such ownership records under his name.
However, when people looked deeper into those claims, they couldn't find ownership records under his name. Instead, most of those properties were linked to Black Spruce Management, where Floyd was said to have only a minority stake. Even with that, he continued to present the buildings as if they were completely his, saying he had no partners and even showing them off publicly as part of his portfolio.
All of them. We're in New York City right now. We're in Manhattan. That's what we do. Come on. You know what I'm doing? All this money made. No partners. All by myself. Over 1,000 apart.
This wasn't the first time his real estate claims made people question things. At one point, Floyd said he owned 9 skyscrapers in New York and even mentioned one summit, but when asked for basic details like addresses, his answers became unclear. That lack of clear information only made people more doubtful about what was actually true.
Always talk about different things that I'm doing. You know, what I'm working on right now in New York City. I know you guys, if you guys haven't seen one of my buildings, is One Summit, you know.
Yes.
You know, it's actually it's one of the tallest commercial buildings in the world. So just in New York alone, I got 9 skyscrapers.
Yeah. What's the address of that building?
I don't know that one by heart.
Floyd later responded by defending himself, saying that he may be many things, but he is not a liar. He even went as far as taking legal action against reports that challenged his claims. Still, when you look at everything together, the pattern raises questions that are hard to ignore.
So this is my first time ever filing a lawsuit against a media company for speaking bad about my company. I'm not a liar. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a liar. I worked hard to build my name, to build my reputation, and I'm not gonna let anyone go out there and smear my name and talk bad about me, talk bad about my family, or talk bad about.
And just when the whole discussion around Floyd's money and business image starts to feel like a serious courtroom case mixed with boxing, Aries Spears steps in and turns it into something louder, more chaotic, and honestly a bit uncomfortable. But behind all that noise, there is still a real point being made about fighters, money, and how fast it can disappear. Aries starts mentioning names like Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and others, talking about how athletes can burn through huge amounts of wealth. And even though his style is wild, the idea he's pointing to is something we've seen before.
Right.
You know, and he's still, you know, flying to Monaco with a bad, buying up half the store.
Right. Always flying private.
Yeah.
Does he have his own plane?
Yeah, he does.
He does, right. So that's massively expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you own it, the upkeep is huge.
Right.
Right. Plus all the properties, all the property tax. Yeah, I mean, if you're not properly invested, I mean, because there was like, he was saying that he bought this building in the Diamond District, but people are saying that's, you know, the same jeweler said that's actually not true.
Right.
So there's been a lot of stuff.
We've already watched Mike Tyson go from having hundreds of millions to going bankrupt. It wasn't because he couldn't make money, but because his spending had no limits. When Aries talks about lifestyles where expensive cars are given away or forgotten like they mean nothing, it might sound extreme at first. But then you remember Tyson himself admitted that he stopped counting money and just lived in the moment. When you look at Floyd through that same perspective, things like the IRS issues, the constant exhibition fights, and the rumors about needing big paydays start to connect. It doesn't necessarily prove everything is falling apart, but it does suggest there could be real pressure behind the scenes.
He lost like 300 million. Burned through it. They say that you, over the course of your career, made $300 million.
Really? That's what they said.
That's what they said.
Okay.
And then at one point, you filed for bankruptcy and you were in debt. That's an amount of money that's just mind-blowing. 300 million, that's like multi-generational wealth to your great